Good morning, everybody. Hope we're having a good morning, and it looks like it's going to be a heck of a day. Exactly, really what we're looking for today, more than anything. Um, let's just keep rocking and rolling here. I'm going to put this link in a couple spots, and then we are good to go. We are ready to rock and roll here. All right. All done. And we are good. So, the names, A, Jern. So some of the names that I really want to go over are just going to be some of the usual suspects. Okay. And let's just talk about what's going on out here. I don't know if you're in from the newsletter or not. That's fine. Let's talk about what's going on now. So we had earnings. It's probably one of the best reports I've heard in a long time. It was just a great earnings report. Okay. And we can see what's happened here. Post came in, everybody sold it down, rallies, comes up, and you took out that high yesterday. Now, the important thing about that high is this 327.69 level. If you just focus on this is post data, right? So, or pre-data, I'm sorry. And so what you're seeing here is you saw that double wick, and then we broke through that double wick, and now you're up here. So this looks excellent, and I really don't see the sense in doing anything with it. You might see some volatility this morning in selling. To me, I don't really plan on doing anything until I see how it really shakes out. I really like it. It looks to me like we're going to go higher and just keep grinding. Apple, the same thing. Let's just focus on this for a moment. This was in the top 10. All we're looking for here, you have a possible short-term trade. If you can get above this line, which you seem to be able to do, okay, this can really accelerate to the upside. So, and really accelerate, like it could get 165, 170 before the end of the year if it breaks this. And that's a huge move for a $2 trillion company. So I do think that that's feasible, and that's what I would focus on. That's really where my interest is going to lie, in the large cap names. Let me just throw on this recently viewed, and then we can kind of go here. And finally, I know a lot of people are looking at this name. Look, we went right to this level. Let me just show you this really quickly. That 1174 level I was talking about. Okay, let me just show you this. Then I can start taking questions. Let's just show this on a 15-minute chart because it's glaring. And you can get rid of these indicators for a moment. You could see how you ran up, right? And then you just formed a doji right there. And everybody knows this essentially is like a shooting star, or you're almost a gravestone at that point. So this is definitely your resistance line, and you're going to have to watch that today. That's really what I wanted to go over. Those three, I think, are going to be very important for the day. So, hey, Daniel. So happy holidays. So, Thanksgiving right around the corner. It's going to be a short week. It's usually volatile with light volume. Today's usually the busiest day. Airbnb, RBLX, and Newer. So let's go through Airbnb. So Airbnb just seems to be wanting to torment people more than anything else. Every single breakout is just like heartbreak. And this is where you're at now, right? I mean, let me just show this. Okay, this is where you're at. This is what you did. So I don't want it to go on what I wanted to do. I want it to go on what it should do. And, I got stopped out here. So, and they were perfect setups. They just reversed. So now I have two red wicks, right? Which I refer to sometimes, as people know these as devil horns, right? So I've got two red wicks right here that are clearly telling me that we're not going higher. So until I'm above this, it's a trade at best. And frankly, I would avoid it until we know what it's going to do. To me, this looks like it's setting up to break down pretty badly. And I'm not really sure why. I thought it would go up on the earnings and follow through, but you're not doing that. And so your next real big levels for this, the real next test for this for me is going to watch what it does at 186 and how it acts there. But this is not the kind of action that I want to see. That's for sure. It's definitely something that I would, not go near until it figures out what it wants to do. NEWR, let's just click this off. And so here you are at 121.19. You're just watching that level. So far, I can't get above it. This rejection here, the 127.81 level, I mean, that's pretty clean rejection, right? So until this figures out what it wants to do, you're just in a range between this 115 and 127. There's nothing for me to do here with that one. Just sit, watch, and wait and try to figure it out. RBLX. So RBLX, look, you're doing everything right. We're in from 104. We raised the stop up. I think you're looking great. I mean, there's not really much to say here. I think if you flip this level, you can keep pushing and keep going. We have to see how it plays off the open, but it's certainly not something that I'm, considering doing anything with. I don't see any reason to. So I'll just leave it alone. Let it do what it's going to do. But yeah, this could really go. This could go again. When you break a long doji like this, it's pretty significant. So definitely something to consider. Thanks, Jern. Yeah, please subscribe because I don't always start at the same time. Good morning, Emran. So let's just keep going here. And what do we have? We have ENPH, Nike, and Lowe's. So ENPH is one that's been on the list, and I really like it. It's just something that has just got away from me at this point. I mean, this was your break. This was a pretty clean break. They set you up perfectly on earnings. I mean, this is how earnings went, right? There's your 201, right? You open and you gap it and you just went. And since then you form this pattern, right? Then 225. And since then, it's just been perfect. Like there's literally nothing to do with it. This little move might have shaken everybody out. But, look, I think it looks great. And it's definitely something that, it's definitely something that I could see why people would be in it. And I'm just not going to chase it. That's way overextended for me from any standpoint, even from here. Look, I mean, even if you use this, you're still overextended, right? Even if you use this peak from where you're at, you're overextended. I mean, that's, 40 points. That's not something I'm interested in chasing. Nike, Nike's got some issues. They have some issues. You're going to have to see how this plays out. You got this move going on earnings, sold down on earnings, then rallied. Now they're doing stuff with people are getting excited because they're getting involved in the metaverse. So they're looking at it as a quote metaverse play. I don't know how that's going to go. I really don't. I don't know why you'd want to own like Nike shoes in the metaverse. It's lost on me, but it might get some bounce on that. I would just watch this level and see how we react to this level. Right now, you're setting yourself up to form a wedge. So, but that's really all I see with it. And what was the other one you wanted to go over? Lowe's? Yep, let's do Lowe's. So what you're seeing here is a nice little flag, tried to break out, failed, right? Open, wick, closes the low, but then we don't break that. And that's what you always want to watch with these kinds of bars. When you have these breakouts and you run, you always want to watch this. See that? 245.25. See how you couldn't break that level? You can just draw that right across and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? So that's what you're looking for, right? Resistance, support, boom. So now you're closing at pretty much a high, right? So let me just show you this. So now you're closing at a high. Now, this could still go. This was on my short list if it breaks, right? If this breaks this level, this was in the top 10 this week. If you haven't watched that top 10, I'd highly recommend you watch it. But it's not going to trigger unless it breaks there. But your Lowe's is in this group. This group can push. I think it's a short, but I could be wrong. I need it to trigger before I even consider it. And it needs to break this for me to even consider shorting it. So it could keep going. And and the space does look hot, but you just got to be careful here. Okay. Because this red bar is in control. So essentially you have a bear flag, right? As this figures itself out. And so far, you really haven't had any of these bodies above this body. So you're going to kind of want to watch that a little bit. I don't see that a big hurry to rush in there. Possible play for bros. Yes, I do think there's a possible play for bros. So this is on my list, actually, and I'm watching it. These levels are really very well respected. And let me just get rid of these little wedge lines real quickly here. Remove all segment lines. So 52, 62, 67. They're all respected. So this was support, okay, and it was resistance, right? And then it flipped to support. Then it flipped back down. You can see how we challenged it here. So these lines are respected. This is really setting up beautifully for a reversal. And this is a key level. So yeah, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. It's definitely on the list. For me, really what you want to see is, getting above this bar. So in other words, really what we want to see is get above 55.5. Now, I don't know that we're there already this morning. Maybe we are 56. Yeah. So they're going to try and trigger it this morning. And they very well could. They very well could trigger it. And if they do, it's something that you may want to consider. I mean, look, if you break this 52.19, you just have to get out of the way, right? So it's a pretty clean trade, knowing that you have about 4 points of risk, and it might set you up for something down the line that you could be in for like a little bit of time and trade up. It's on my radar. That's what I would tell you. It's definitely on my radar today. So I do like it. Morning, Justin. Good morning, Cameron. Shop. Yeah. So let's go through what's happening there. Okay. This was one we kept talking about in the trading group. We started a position, it's a $1,600 stock. We're up, the most we've been up in is $100. I mean, it's not really a lot. I mean, 100 points is nice, but it's a $1,600 stock. So it's kind of, you kind of just have to think about it a little differently. I think there's a 20% move here. I still believe that. The issue becomes this bar. And now if you break below that, you're just going to go back into the flag. So you're going to really have to watch this. Now, if we pull this down, you can see how the bar changes, right? So we got rid of the pre and post. So we opened, ran, went through the open, and came down to the low. What's important about this particular bar is that close was still above any other close we've ever had. A very similar pattern to what you just saw happen with NVIDIA, right? And let me just point this out so you can kind of see that, because your job as a trader is to identify patterns. Okay. Even though people weren't happy with this opening up and closing down that day, it still closed at an all-time high, right? So what happened here with Shop? Why are they comparisons? What did we do? Closed at an all-time high. Okay. So it's not the best bar in the world. And if we break this 1685 and you're a short-term trader, you need to go, because you're going to come back down here and build and base before you possibly push again. I like it. I do. I like it. I don't know why we sold off the way we did on Friday. The reason why to me doesn't really matter. All that matters is what the price does. So that said, let's watch what happens here. But I think that this could continue to push. And we'll just have to see how that plays out. But I like it. So I do. I like it. Hey, Doug, Microsoft. I'm all over it. So stock, options, the works. I need it to break. So if we don't break here, it's going to be an issue. Okay. And that's really what I want to see. I want to see it break. If it doesn't do that, you could just keep grinding higher, and I'm not going to get out of it because of that. Our target on it's been 350 for some time. And we got fairly, fortunate with our buy. And it's just been doing well ever since. So I don't see sense doing anything, but you need to be aware of this channel right here, Doug, right? You got to be aware of this, and, bonk, can't break it, bonk. I do think that we can flip them this week. And I think you're starting to see signs of that. I just don't think Apple's going to break its upper channel and Microsoft's not. I just don't see that. I just see massive institutional buying across the board going, buy the big guys. We need alpha. Hey, buddy. Yeah, yeah, I actually think that you're going to see a lot. That's what this week is. Okay, you have to realize that the majority of institutions, they're not trading that much this week. Yes, you can trade anywhere from the world, but they're on their vacations, they're flying around the world, they're doing all kinds of stuff. So yeah. Hey, SF. So do I have concerns about snow? No, I'm doing great with it. My concerns. So let's address it. I mean, this is where we're in from. We got to the first target. This was my second target, getting to the top of this. Coming up like this, now that's fine. Okay. You need to hold this channel. Now, if you break that channel, let me get rid of the pre and post. If you break that channel, you're not going to want to be in this very, very cleanly, right? Unless you're willing to ride it down. But for me, I believe we put the stop at 385 just so people could see if it holds this breakout bar, right? Or if it gets through there. So, let's just see how that all plays out. I don't really see a sense of doing anything with it from where I'm in. Now, if you were in earlier, you should already be. If you got in up here, you had signs that you should have gotten out, right? So what are your signs? Okay, here's your wick, and you have to break above that, right? So if you bought this at the top, you have an issue, right? Because here's price rejection again, and then you broke this low. That's it. It's not. You should be out because this could just bounce around and trade or break. You just don't know. And remember, and people are thinking it's far out. December 1st is not that far out. We have this week, right? Wednesday will be light volume. Thursday is Turkey Day. Friday we're done by 1. So next week, December 1st, and you're there. Boom. So you have to think like that, right? So what does that mean for us? Well, that means that you just need to be cognizant that that's how a lot of people are thinking, and maybe they don't want to take the risk in snow. Maybe they're just looking at it and going, you know what? Why not take the risk? We'll buy it after earnings. We made so much money in it, so you could see weakness, and I would honor that stop. I hope that's clear. What's up, Shane? Hey, Samira. So, Samira, you have to give me more. I covered Microsoft. Give me more. Tell me which calls you own. What strike? I don't know which ones you're in. Hey, Rob. AKH. Hey, you too. Coin. I looked at this chart a lot this week, over the weekend, and if you go on the premise, let's get rid of this. If you go on the premise that this is one big cup and this is handle, right, and you break out of that, it could work, right? My issue with it, if you want to get super technical, is once you're into the cup again, okay, it's not really a handle, is it? You're in the cup. So, does that mean it can't work? No, it can work. You're still looking for pattern recognition, and this kind of works. But we're looking for a break of this line. This is obviously your issue, 349.20. And let's just go through that, right? Can't break it all this time. Finally gets through it. Support, resistance becomes what? Support, resistance, 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 right? Now what? Okay, that's what you have to focus on. So that's what you need to focus on as well. So I do like it, but let it play itself out. Shot we just covered, Janice. I hope you saw it. No, I don't think you're close to the bottom. I would avoid this. Look, you're going to see more and more of this as the end year progresses. Okay, if you're in this, right, you're still up on the year. You may be trying to lock those gains in, right? You might be trying to lock those in because your gains are just running away from you. This is a really clear H with all the pre and post in. Click off the pre and post, right? Just because you have a gap doesn't mean that the bar goes away. It's just a phantom bar, right? But on this gap and then breaking here, I don't know if anyone remembers, this was in the top 10 as a buy here, right? I was waiting for a push. We never got it. So now you broke, you're rolling back down. I don't see any reason why this is not going to 191. It's not something that I want to own. Maybe we could look at, maybe we could find something redeeming about it by looking at the RSI, and RSI is off a cliff. Maybe there's something redeeming about it on MACD. The only thing about MACD that I would tell you, and this is pretty much the only useful thing with MACD, is You see when you start seeing these little spikes, okay, that usually means the bottom could be in. But as soon as you break one of those little spikes, right on the histogram, okay, and the histogram's going up while the stock's going down, yeah, you don't want to be in this, right? That's setting up, and these are widening. So as much as I don't like MACD because it's a lagging indicator, not a leading indicator, there is some value to it. So you just have to be cognizant of that. But you're really looking for this 191 level. So what's up, Swing? NEGG. Yeah, I think you're on to something with MTTR. You came up with it yesterday, or asked me about it last night. Look, this I don't get this. This one I don't get. I see what you're saying, right? You're seeing this, you're seeing this, you're seeing above here, and you're above this. I mean, I've got such a base here that I'm trendless, right? So when you're in a base, you're essentially trendless, right? You're just building a base. I really don't care about moving averages. To me, they're completely irrelevant. What matters is support and resistance lines. So what I would do is just draw support and resistance lines. Well, here's one wick. How are we acting there? So far, we rejected that wick. Okay. There's another wick. How are we doing there? Not even close. So now you have to kind of say, okay, well, now we have another wick here. Let me just throw that in. 1985. Now you can see what's going on. Okay. So what can't you break? 1985. What would be the first sign that I would want to be in this? 1985. What's the next sign that I'm doing well? 2122, 2404. They're your levels. Watch those. But I don't get that one. I don't get that one, buddy. I could be wrong. Won't be the first time. Won't be the last. So look, I got it. The metaverse. They do something with the metaverse. I have no idea what they do with the metaverse, but somewhere, I mean, maybe they'll change the name to metaverse. Stock will probably go up. But breaking and getting above this 28 and closing above this 28 is what you want. Okay. That's what you need. Put in the bells and whistles. The volume's through the roof. This is exactly what you want. Huge volume, dries up, huge volume. It's exactly what you want to see. So it's doing everything right. Let's get rid of all of these annotations for a moment. And we'll just put this one back in because it's the only one that's really relevant. So that's what I would focus on. Get and stay above this. Now, if you get above this higher high and you open, you might go, you might push, but I've got Wick City here, right? I mean, I've just got Wick City, and wicks are price rejection. So it's got to show me something before I get all, warm and fuzzy about it. So hope that's helpful, Swing. Hey, Samira. BKKT. Let's go. BKKT. So I wouldn't go near this. I don't see anything redeeming about it. You have this move here. Yep, maybe it's going to go. The wick would scare me and how we rejected the 8. You could say that if you want to play it, get above 22.5. And maybe you could look at it. Maybe it goes again, right? I mean, all you did was you didn't really come back down to here. So maybe it goes again, but I would avoid it until it does that. INTU, what's up, Rob? So here's your issue. Okay, you broke out, right? And then you just sold down all day. Now you did recoup some, but you're in a trading range now. So now you have to look at it that way, right? And let me put that there. Okay, there's your trading range. So if you break this level, okay, and let's see what you're doing this morning. So if you break this level, right, you're going to come back down to here. You have the potential to come back down to here. If you break to the upside, that's where the interest is. So to me, this is in no man's land. This is not something that I would really play with. I'd want to see the break and then see if I could get in with a good risk reward and go from there. That's what I'd be looking for on it. But I wouldn't touch it here. What's up, Root? Lemonade and Fubo. So, let's talk about Lemonade. $58.83 coming across, cutting down $52.82. So I really would tell you just to avoid this. I mean, I just don't see any reason to be in this. Hold on 1 second here. Let me change this. I don't know if you can hear the music or not, but it's just supposed to be instrumental. Okay, sorry about that. So let me get back to this. I wouldn't go near this. I mean, I just wouldn't. Like, what is redeeming about that? Everybody that's in here is going to sell, right? Because they're going to take their tax losses and lock it in. Look, no one knows what they're going to do next tax year. Okay, no one knows what those laws are going to change, how they're going to change, if they're going to change. And you have, and I'm not saying this from a political standpoint, but from a financial standpoint, you have this bill that's out there, this Build Back Better. People have no idea how it's going to affect capital gains. No one does. And so people are a little panicked by that. So you're seeing tax selling, uncertainty. People hate uncertainty, right? So you're going to see more selling based upon that. So I would just avoid that. That's not something that I'd be rushing into. What was the other one? Fubo. So let's look at Fubo for a moment. See what's going on there. Okay. So again, why in the world would you go near this? Like, here you are in January, right? Look, remember this statement to the end of the year. Okay. Any stock that is down from its January 1st high to the end of this year, I'm not saying what's going to happen in January, any stock that's down, okay, to the end of the year, okay, is going to wind up in a spot where they're going to have an issue. Okay. They're going to just see selling across the board. It's not going to stop to the end of the year. It may slow down the last week, and you can start looking for a bounce there. That's usually when people start positioning themselves, quote, for the bounce. But you're going to have to watch that and make sure that that transpires. But that's the play. Yeah, look, I mean, here's the thing with NFTs that nobody's explained to me yet. The thing behind Bitcoin is that it's a scarcity, okay? And it's caught on. And as it catches on, that's great. And I'm not saying the NFT market's not going to be around. I think it is. My issue is that it's limitless, right? Anyone can create art, right? Anyone can create art. Anyone can create an NFT. So I'm not so sure why that's going to work, right? Is someone only going to get the one NFT of those Nike shoes? Is that what's going to happen? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not really sure on that. I don't know enough. I've been reading about it, and I listened to a couple podcasts, and someone just sent me another one I'm going to listen to. And I think it's going to be around. But remember, just like the internet was around when that came out, okay, there were a million companies. Okay, there's like 5 now. So a lot of people are going to buy a lot of NFTs that are worth literally nothing. I know ASTR has been brought up in the community. Any interest today? Yeah, I know we talked about it in the trading room. This is where you're at. This is where you closed. This is what you've done. Here's how I was saying it. So there's somebody that seems to have a decent position in it in the trading room, and I was just pointing out, like, look, they just did what you've been waiting for them to do, right? They just had a successful event. So you want to sell into the rip, sell into the rip if you want. But if you're looking at this long term, and it's a long-term account, and the company is fundamentally doing what you're doing, and you're looking at a couple years, you don't sell this. You sit, watch, and wait, see how it goes. Okay. There's going to be winners and losers in that space. And this might be a winner. So, you just have to see how it plays out if you really want to be involved. I mean, it's just like space. Like, everybody thought this was going to be great. And then we saw all the institutions and Chamath and everybody else selling it here going, quote, climate change. And they all got out, right? I mean, all the insiders got out of the stock. If you see insiders getting out of this, become concerned. Other than that, I think you look at it as a long-term play. Would I buy this? No, I would not. And I don't like the fact that you have this wick like that. So far, you have no sustainability, which means that this wasn't a short-term event that people were trading, but we're still above that channel line. So I'd watch that. I get shaken out of it too. It happens. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, I think they will make money off the Nike play, and I do think that kids are going to buy them. I don't know. It's interesting. I think like if you really think about it, like the only time that it was very interesting to me in buying skins and things like that was the that one game, Fortnite. I got that. That made sense to me. Microsoft, yeah, I think so. I think we're there. Let's go here. Let's just keep going down the list. Ballard teams up with Caterpillar and Microsoft to demonstrate megawatt scale hydrofusion cell backup generator. Well, maybe that'll work. Hey, Raphael. So Amazon, let's go through this. And this is where you're at. Hold on one second. Let me remove this. 371208, 377. I mean, you got to watch these levels. That's a nasty rejection on Friday, right? So you need to watch this. You break this level, you're going to wind up coming back down here. So that's how I would play it. We had a trade on it Friday, sold into it. That was the end of it. It was a quick trade. No reason to stay around. But you have to watch those. And let's just keep going. So, look, I'm not a fan of Facebook. And I'm not a fan of this pattern. So my thought with this pattern is rejection, rejection. This is the perfect setup to get people in it, and then it rolls, right? So I could be wrong, and it could go. This is somewhat like a W, a weird W, but a W nonetheless. And we cleared the W line, and we're staying above it. What I would use when someone asked me was I'd use this wedge line. So essentially, using this wedge line, you can either buy it before this or at this level. 352.10 is what you'd be looking for, okay? So I'm thinking of selling puts on NVIDIA or RBLX. RBLX, I would only do on pullbacks. I'd be really careful there about selling a put. Okay, first, the liquidity of those options is not great. It's just not. In regards to NVIDIA, yeah, I mean, look, for NVIDIA, what I would try to do if you're selling puts, I don't know how long you want to go out, but I showed this, and for me, I'll just tell you, I think you can get to like 380 in a very short period of time. I would sell deep in the money puts on NVIDIA and leave it on. I wouldn't touch it. And I'd be willing to own the stock wherever that is, plus the price point. So something that got me to like this in this range, right? So like, let's say I sell the 380s and I'm taking in, $100. I don't know. I have to look at where the options are, but I'd be going out further, and I'd be going deep, deep in the money on the options. If I wanted to do that trade, but I wouldn't be doing like sell a 300. Like, it's kind of pointless. I would be deep in the money, so I don't have to keep looking at it every day as it goes up 1 or 2% every day. Follow me? But the RBLX, you need to be careful of. I'm not saying not to do it, but it's a completely different trade. Like RBLX, like you would sell them today, and then if it gets below this line, you blow it out, right? That's kind of how you have to look at RBLX. Completely different trade, completely different beast than NVIDIA. One's $1 trillion company, and one is selling, Nike shoes to teenagers on the internet. But it's going to be way more wild. So, hey, Ruth, can you please cover you? Yes, I can. Let's just start getting through all these and keep going. So I just think you need to be careful here. It's pretty clean to me that, this secondary's been eaten. And then as it's been eaten, you're just working your way through. You're getting to that 8-day. Sit, watch, wait. I don't see sense doing anything with it. Wednesday's a full day. FNGU, you really have to watch Netflix and what Netflix is going to do. This looks like it wants to go today. Again, there's another wedge line right there now, but let's just do it this way. You need to watch this. Whatever this does is the way that's going to go. And if this is going to trade sideways, that's going to trade sideways. That's what's holding it. That's what's holding it back. It's not the other parts of it that are holding it back, Jern. Hey, Brian, we did Tesla in the beginning. And for time's sake, I'm not going to cover it again. Just go. It's in the very, very beginning. One of the first three. You have to watch the 1174 level with it. So I actually like this, and I would look for it to see if you can get a higher high here today. If you get a higher high here today, this could push. So just watch the 55.5 level. But if you get that, yeah, it can push. I don't think this is over. It was in the top 10. PBW. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but you have to watch this level. Look, 94.65. You don't seem to be able to break that level. That's what I would use. GFS, I like Raphael, but it rejected, right? So you need to see it do something. Right now, I have a breakout rejection. The next day was a rejection. Now we're just sitting in the middle. 66 seems to be the key level for that right now. Take this out. You can see that 63.5 is somewhat like support. So, you hope you hold that support level today and go from there. Affirm. Yeah, I think you're in good shape there. If you can hold. If you can't hold, you're going to have a problem. Run. If you can't hold there on a firm, you need to get out. I mean, that's not something I would buy, but I need to flip that 50 and then maybe run. Let's take a look here. See where we're at on run. So let's just go. 5703 seems to be your issue. Was your issue here? And was your issue here? So that's not really something that I'd be watching. mRNA. So I have a short position in this. The way that I'm looking at it is if I get above this level, 275, I'll just close it, take the loss. But other than that, I don't really see a sense of doing anything with it. You may test it today. You might not. I have to see. I really have to see how that plays out. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. But that could play out that it stops me out today. It's not looking great. So I was hoping that it would roll, and it just really didn't roll enough for me. I have this doji, so I'm just going to really have to see how it plays itself out. Hopefully it breaks and starts rolling. If it doesn't, then I'll move on. Facebook, we covered Bark. So how far behind it? Okay, I'm going to jump to the front here. Let's do Bark, and then we'll jump to the front and just do this the next 2 minutes. We looked at this. You got to avoid this. I would not be going near this, right? It's not something that I would even remotely go near. To me, it looks like, I don't know why people are interested in it. To me, it's just outright selling. It looks like tax selling. NVIDIA, you have to do day trades on and try to get in and stay in. So I don't know if it's ridiculously priced. I mean, what would be, look, I remember hearing that Tesla was ridiculously priced when it was $40. Okay, it's now 4,000, so, or 5,000. I don't even know. I don't know if it's ridiculously priced. I don't know that. Here's what I know. Here's what would concern me if I was in this. First off, I wouldn't even do this trade on the short side here. You had your chance up here. When you reversed here and you broke down here, you had a bearish engulfing. There's your break. I mean, there's your trade. Now you're trying to pick up a support line and short it, right? Because you have a support line right here. Okay. So I don't really want to do that. So what does that mean? Here, and we can look at it this way too and give you more data points. Boca, hold on. Okay. And let's get rid of this. And we'll get rid of this. So these are all your support lines. I mean, this is us trading it, right? I mean, all these steps up since we've been doing it, right? We've just been kept stepped up, got stopped out, and you can see how it's respecting all of them. I don't know that I would short it here. I mean, if I took out the low, I'd be interested in shorting it. That trade might work. I don't know that this works here. and it's not something that I would do. We've got 3 BPAs on it right now. I don't know if I'm going to put a 4th on it yet. I'm going to have to say, right? I mean, we have 3 BPAs on it. What we've been doing is just, as the market narrows, we've been putting more and more into very specific trades. It's working out very nicely. But Biden to nominate Powell as Fed chair for 2nd term. This is bullish for the market. It could be, or it could be disastrous. You just don't know. Let's just go Melly. And let's just do Melly and go. I'm going to have to jump here. I have a lot I have to do this morning, trade-wise. And I have to hop back in the trading room. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go near this. This is another tax sale to the end of the year. So just consider that. Okay, just consider that. All right. Let's just see. PANW I want to cover. I think that's important. And then I'll go from there. PANW. Yeah, I mean, like, look, this was your move. And all I would look for here is to get above this, and then I put that trade on. I wouldn't even think about it as soon as I break above that. This is what it did last time when you broke above that level on earnings. So you have to go on the assumption it's going to do the same, right? Just like we looked at this trade and we waited for it to break and it never did, right? We did nothing, and that was the right move. I would do the same thing here. That's exactly how I would trade it. So, all right, everyone, I have to jump. It's getting harder and harder to cover all the names as we get bigger, but that's really where we're at. And, it's a short week, light volume, volatility. Please like the video. Please subscribe, because I try to start at 8:30, but sometimes I start differently. That's it. Everyone, trade sharp.